Human Resources Committee joint meeting. Called to order.
Ms. Butts?
Here.
Ms. Shakarian?
Here.
Mr. Corrigan?
Here.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Here.
And Mr. Parker?
Yeah. Fine.
All right, it's short.
The first item on the agenda for approval here to go to Thursday's full board meeting is Exhibit 1, which is the resolution to accept gifts for the month of December. Resolve the gifts described in the gift report for December of 2023 be accepted upon the conditions connected with said gifts in accordance with Section 3375.40K of the Ohio Revised Code. And the biggest item, of course, is the public artwork grant from the Art for Justice group,
Right.
correct?
From the Cleveland Public Library Foundation. Wow.
And then this is the Judd Fund usually gives us in December, right? Is
That's a
that how
big
that-
one,
The
too.
Judd Fund? Yeah, the Young Fund, the Judd Fund, and
Schweinfurt.
the Schweinfurt that was the annual RMD that was received. We received that once a year.
Right.
And then the rest were the fourth quarter distributions. And the United Way grant payment in the Early Literacy Fund.
It's great. Do I have a motion to send it to the full board Thursday?
So moved.
Second from somebody?
Second, I'm sorry.
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Exhibit 2 is the resolution to authorize payment of fees to CleveNet Special Revenue Fund covering the period January 1, 2024 through December 31, 2024. This is what we've done regularly in connection with our agreement with our CleveNet partners. Resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes the payment of $1,573,014.70 to the CleveNet Special Revenue Fund effective January 1, 2024. The expenditure being charged the general fund account 1301005353900 other purchase services. I don't know if anybody else wants to explain how that works for anybody who doesn't know.
The total shared contract costs for the CleveNet member libraries are presented to all the CleveNet directors in October. And that's per the agreement we have in place. And then once they're presented to the directors, they have 90 days to either say yay or nay, I'm going to continue with our membership within CleveNet or I'm not. That's why we have to calculate them in October. So then we calculate the shared costs, which are based on the personnel, the salaries and benefits, and the hardware, software, and maintenance, and their 2024 calendar year budget items. Those were presented to the directors at their full annual costs. And then the executive panel decided to take 1/2 of the unencumbered balance and apply it to the costs this year. So when we closed December, the unencumbered balance was just over $600,000 in the CleveNet Special Revenue Fund, and we applied the $338,811 to the total shared contract cost, which reduces all the members' annual contract costs. And yeah, so now the total share contract cost is just over 5.5 million distributed among the members.
And this is about 47 or something different libraries? Or
47
number
members, yes, and their contract costs are listed on the report attached. And of course, Cleveland Public Library makes up about 28.5% of the total contract costs. And then the next biggest one is Medina, and then Geauga County Library.
And it's because those have multiple branches, and that's part of the reason theirs is high.
Right, and then the costs are based on those 4 pricing measurements that are on report 1. The total inventory that each library has, the number of their active users, the square footage of their buildings, and their total circulation. So the costs are all allocated equally amongst each contracted library according to the 4 measures.
So the unencumbered balance, Carrie, is that just representing 2023 overage, or is that representative of some carryover from 22 or 21 too?
It's continuous.
Okay,
It's continuous. So if they budgeted $1 million and only spent 900,000, 100,000 will fall into the unencumbered balance.
Okay.
So it's continuous. Last year, they applied a third of the unencumbered balance, but this year it was a half because it is decreasing.
And again, just for the record, the last time we did a study, and I'd just like to emphasize this, CleanNet saves the taxpayers of the region for all the member libraries estimated in $2 to $3 million. So that it's the cooperation, if you will, the intergovernmental cooperation of CleanNet represents probably statewide the largest savings to taxpayers of intergovernmental cooperation. So whenever somebody talks about regionalizing or merging and those sort of things, I always say, well, just watch what you're saying, watch what you're doing, because quite frankly, there aren't any other governments in the state of Ohio that cooperate with each other as much as the CleanNet libraries do, all to the benefit of the taxpayers. So I have a motion to approve that, send this to the full board on Thursday.
so moved.
Second.
Ms. Shakarian,
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan,
Yes.
and Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 3 is the resolution ratifying the agreement for leased vehicles with Enterprise FM Trust. Long lead times caused by supply chains. We've been only able to accept new delivery of vehicles on a piecemeal basis. So far, 8 of the 15 that were authorized in March of '21. And this resolution would take the delivery of the 2 new vehicles and ratify and approve the lease with Enterprise FM Trust for the 2 new vehicles, Exhibit A. So, sir, is there a motion to pass this to the full board?
I have a question about this,
Sure.
and I understand that we were supposed to get 8 new vehicles,
15 total.
50, right. So because we haven't gotten 15 new vehicles, does that mean the vehicles that we end up getting are gonna be 2024 or 2023 and not, it's a new? All right, you think, right, go.
The vehicles we get will be new. We do work with Enterprise as our agents, new or lightly used, but that goes into the pricing calculation. So Enterprise, we've selected Enterprise as our trusted agent. They'll bring options to us and say, okay, we've got a 2022 vehicle, it's 10,000 miles, we get this much depreciation, this is what your annual, just like a regular private auto buyer would be. Or you've got a brand new one with a higher off-the-lot cost and a higher company rate. So we make those decisions in partnership with Enterprise.
Okay, so we're not locked in for like the newer vehicles at last year's prices?
No, not at all. But when vehicles are available, frequently it's act now or lose it to another client. So we appreciate the ability to bring these ratifications to the board after we've made a decision.
Yeah.
So we took possession of 8, so this is number 9 and 10?
Right.
The first
Okay.
8 were sedan SBS vehicles. This is one of the box trucks, one of the main library delivery trucks that we use for Interbranch,
Okay.
and then a mechanic van for children.
Got it. That helps.
And we actually have 7 on order right now.
So they're all shortly
Right.
behind.
We have the 3 trucks and the Malibus.
Right.
Mhm.
And the second,
Second.
Ms. Shakarian,
Yeah.
Mr. Corrigan,
Yes.
and Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Exhibit 4 is a resolution to modify the terms of donation from Cleveland Thermal. Basically, we went, I'm the board member who knows the most about this, I guess, because we ended up in a little bit of a hole when the Public Utilities Commission changed the way it did tariffs and how it did emergency tariffs. And thankfully, the owner of Cleveland Thermal at that time was able to negotiate with us a resolution that saved us pretty close to $250,000 in already billed fees. and basically said another 100,000 of what we would have paid could instead be paid, in effect, by them into the deposit in the Founders Fund to support a study of whether we should have our own chillers or keep using their chilled water. Again, the issue at the time, and these energy things, as everybody knows, have been so volatile up and down. So as it turns out, in this resolution, the study was done and it only cost $42,000. Cleveland Thermal is no longer owned by the gentleman in Oregon and was purchased from him by largely by the pension fund of the government of Canada, one of the teachers' pension funds. And they and their leadership has decided that rather than refund to them the $57,470, they're going to grant it to us for our use in connection with their continuing customer cooperative relationship we have with them. So this is a win-win all the way around. We got a good study done to make sure we understood what the best course was for chilled water, and at the same time, now have a net to use for our programs. So that's what resolved that the Board of Trustees at Cleveland Public Library, pursuant to the authority set forth in 3375.40K, hereby accepts Cleveland Thermal's release of the restrictions on remaining funds that this board accepted on September 17, 2015, and instructs the Chief Financial Officer or designee to reallocate the funds in the Founders Fund with the restriction that the funds be used for programming. So there's a motion to send this to the full board on Thursday.
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Exhibit 5 is the First Amendment to the year 2024 appropriation. This is a customary monthly amendment as we get 12 different certificates from the County Budget Commission. We reallocate and make the appropriate amendment. Resolve that the sums indicated in the attached First Amendment to the year 2024 appropriation discussion be approved. And I didn't see anything that was unusual on there, Carrie, at all. It was just
It's really just closing December and moving forward the carry forward budgets from December into 2024. Really a cleanup amendment.
so is there a motion to send that to the full board on Thursday?
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Shakarian?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes.
And that concludes the Finance Committee, and as compared to the 31 items on the December agenda, we only have 5. So
Wow.
I won't be reading quite so long on Thursday.
You read so well.
Human Resources Committee, Mr. Hairston's chair.
Wow.
Mr. Parker's coming.
Yeah, so exhibit 6 is the regular employment report, and exhibit 7 is the retirement recognition. And I see Mr. Bird is on there.
Yes.
My former teacher. Yeah, he didn't run this by me. But we see that, and I want to, if possible, if we got a motion, to move both of these to the board.
So moved.
Second.
We're gonna miss Mr. Bird, all these people that are.
And the motion was made by,
And then seconded by Corey.
I'm sorry.
I should make the motion, yes, since I'm on that committee, yes.
Wrong committee.
I'm sorry.
So Alice, and I'm seconding.
Ms. Butts?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes,
Thanks for catching that.
yeah, thanks for keeping us on the right lane, Mr. Fisher. And that's all for the Human Resources Committee.
I just wanted to let everybody know, we don't do comment at Finance Committee, but Zach Schiller is here from Ohio Policy Matters. And because of the mayor's announcement of the super enlarged TIF district that's planned, and as you all know, tax abatements affect what we get from the levies that our taxpayers have approved from the library. And they managed to cut an exception in the legislature years ago for the schools, but it doesn't apply to the other taxing authorities inside what would be a TIF district. The mayor has represented that his plan, and city council is going to be reviewing it, suggests that there'll be enough recovery in the increased values effect that the libraries and other entities will not lose funds. And obviously, as has happened in the past, we've worked with administrations. We don't like to throw cold water on ambitions. We like to say, sounds great. How do we make sure the library's not hurt? And I advise Mr. Schiller that I appreciate Ohio Policy Matters and their continuing concern about how tax abatements in TIF districts work, and that appreciate his calling that to our attention, and that we already had, but to remind us again that this is something we've got to look out for the best interests of the library.
And not only that, if you would like, please, if you would like to put something in writing, we could, read it under, on Thursday as a public comment. So we'd be happy
What
to do
about,
that.
isn't this decision probably gonna be made by the end, before our February board meeting? The council, I know, has been looking at it already.
Yeah, I don't have the suggestion that council's going to give final approval to this thing. I think, and there are steps along the way to create these under the statute that I think we'll have an opportunity to continue to talk to the mayor and his plans and how we protect the library in those situations. On the front end, it doesn't have any immediate impact because whatever tax we are owed continues to come. It's whether we're giving up future value disproportionately to what these TIF districts might do to our customer base, our patrons, and our tax base. And so it's not like we'll be seeing a cut, but we're not going to be sharing in the benefit in the same way. And
In other words, in the next 30 years, the increases we wouldn't benefit from, we would only benefit from what we're already getting.
right, but there's, what has happened in the past is, in particular in individual, when they've been large individual TIF districts and those things, they basically put into the agreements with the developers and the beneficiaries of the abatements, if you will, provisions to, if you will, protect the other
Right.
tax. So that's what we're gonna ask the mayor to keep in mind and negotiate his
So
connection.
didn't they already do this with Sherwin-Williams, where I was wondering if they could, in the future, maybe change their district that they're talking about to maybe just be the Dan Gilbert area or whatever, a smaller area instead of the whole part of the city of Cleveland they're now designating?
I don't know whether I can say I understand fully or that I agree fully, but the theory of the mayor's plan is by having a super district,
Right,
he's going to be creating additional incentives in effect for other projects, not just within the district,
mm-hmm,
but adjacent to the district.
Sure.
And that all the entities, the tax entities will benefit.
and we know it worked in Ohio City to have the tax abatement for as long, I guess it's gonna end in
I know.
June, but,
Right, the Gordon Square stuff, you mean.
Yeah.
But,
you don't wanna learn more today instead of waiting till Thursday?
Well, no, I don't think so, because we're not gonna change where our agenda and the way we do
Okay.
things today. So to wait till Thursday or just submit any type of public comments, because I think, right now, there's a lot to learn, a
Right,
lot to be had.
right,
If someone wants to submit a comment prior, we can review it and look at it. But we're, as a library, not gonna sit here, or we shouldn't at this point, because nothing
Right, I'm
is in
just
stone
curious
at the mayor's
to
level.
learn more,
And
right?
like trustee Corbett said, at this time, we're still gonna be receiving the same funding that we have. in the
yeah, it's
past.
not
So
an
what-
immediate thing, but we ought to be looking out for the
We need to
library.
think about it and keep our ears open. I don't think it's something to discuss at this moment, since I don't think the full board is fully aware or up to speed or up to date about what's going on. And our own comments or thoughts are something that we could talk about later, but guess and think at this moment is not the right time, if I may.
Right, thank you.
So without further ado, I would request approval to adjourn these two committee meetings. No objections? We're adjourned. Thanks a lot.
But Zach is here, and if any board member would like to have a few minutes to spend with him.
Off the record.
Yes.
Sorry.
Kind of off the record.
Sorry, I'm just trying to.
Yeah,